SITC fam. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on any podcast platform. Leave us a review wherever you can. And don't forget to subscribe to LL Geselle on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and find us on Facebook at Sonographers in the Cities.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Geselle.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Today we'll be talking about managing ergonomics.
Yes, a lot of you guys have asked us about ergonomics. What do we do and how do we prevent pain? Because as a sonographer, you guys all know, a lot of us are working in pain. Yes, very painful. What do you want to talk about, Lynn?
Let's see. Why do we have pain?
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Why do we have pain? We have a lot of it. Pain from studying in school. No, I'm just kidding. It really is very painful, though.
Yes. Pain from studying in school.
Yeah, studying.
Let's see. Pain from my first thought is the patient, because I had a difficult patient yesterday. So from the patients, from work environment, work equipment that's provided to you, like the beds that you can't adjust, or the chair that your workplace provides that's not, comfy for you. I want to talk about the chair. I'll be back with the chair. I got something to ask. Let's see.
The machine, positioning, tables,
a dinosaur is hard to move, and
rooms,
stuff. I also want to say, when I write reports, I don't know how comfy the chairs are, or the tables, or the setup, depending on where you work. That could affect your body positioning too.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could say, like, there's a lot of reasons that's causing the pain, but also on top of that, it's like, where are you feeling the pain? And a lot of people ask about where the pain is, and they think it's mostly our arm, but it's just our arm. So where else are you in pain?
Your hand, your wrist, the fingers in my fingers that I didn't know, the muscles in my fingers that I didn't know I have.
The fingers in my fingers.
The fingers in my fingers, right? My shoulders, right?
Back, neck, hips.
Yes.
Legs,
right? Feet, if you stand
ankles,
everywhere.
Everywhere, the whole entire body, your head, your eyes.
My eyeballs.
Yeah. Eyeballs. Your throat, sometimes it gets dry if you don't drink your water. But in all seriousness,
yeah,
literally our entire body.
Yeah.
Like right now I have lower back pain actually. And arm pain. And yeah, people are very, very afraid about this pain that we have as sonographers. And honestly, it is something you should be afraid about, but I don't think it should be something that deters you from the job itself.
Agreed. You're experiencing back pain. I am experiencing my upper back and my shoulder pain right here because of that big patient.
So let's hear that story. Why do you think you're having pain today from your patient that you had yesterday?
So my patient was over 300 pounds. The bed, he was in pain already. Like, the patient was already in pain. He was in a limited positioning. He couldn't, it was a reflux study, so it's a long study. And so body habitus and the study itself, limited patient positioning, and also my schedule was packed. So I was rushed to, and it was the last study of the day, so I was rushed to finish so that we would be closing. So all those factors on top of what we discussed before affected the pain I'm experiencing today, because I had to do that reflux study that was scheduled for 2 hours, and it took me an hour and 45 minutes. And with the patient being in pain, obviously patient comfort is first, right? So what you're You try to make them as comfortable as they can. He couldn't. He just complained the entire time. And he wouldn't reschedule either to a different site that has a more comfortable bed for him. So he's just miserable. So that, and then patient positioning. So you try to adjust to their position to get the image that you want, which is also, it was like very hard. So I have to do, extend my arm more than I should. Another thing is, obviously he's a big dude, so I had to stand the entire time. Good thing I wore compression socks. The one of the things that I did not like is the probe itself. It was a Siemens 2000, so it's like a dinosaur machine,
Mm.
and the probe was this thick, like the width. This is the width of the probe, and this is my hand. So it's ergonomically, like, that's not good for my hand. And I was scanning it all day. Your probe could be reason why you get pain too. So that's the spiel of why I'm in pain today.
Unfortunately, that's part of our job, right? And
It is.
a lot of times we are trying to figure out how can we prevent that. But even with prevention, we can still be in pain or still hurt ourselves. And it could be something from either not just yesterday, but also the repetitive, you're doing this quite often in this week. And so imagine people who are doing that 4 days a week and scanning those types of patients 4 times a week, not just one patient, like 10 of those patients. And so if you continue on that process of having that many patients with that much difficultness of scanning them, then you can only imagine how much pain you're going to accumulate over time if you're always doing that and not managing your ergonomics, not
Right.
doing stuff to help you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we want to talk about managing it today, because we want to try to make it so you're in less pain when these things happen. And like Lynn said, the comfortability of the patient is like our number one priority. And a lot of times you'll see to people saying, well, I'm not going to also break my arm for a scan or a case. So
Right.
how do you balance, the two with, knowing when enough is enough or when you really aren't just going to get a picture? I think that's something that a lot of new grads find difficulty with,
Mm-hmm.
because me being a senior sonographer for a long time, it's easy for me to tell you just get what you can get, or
Right.
just try to do your
Mm-hmm.
best, but like, just over years in time you'll realize like you can't get the perfect image.
Mm-hmm.
So you navigate with, trying to get the images for that patient, but then also trying not to hurt yourself in that process just because you're newer and you're also teaching students how to scan now in school and stuff like that. So what would you say to people who are having a hard time?
Oh, I would I would say what you just said. Just get what you can get. As long as your image is diagnostic, don't hurt yourself over it. Obviously, I hurt myself. It's just with this patient, he has done this multiple times. Most people wasn't able to get what they were looking for. I was able to visualize what they missed, so I wanted to at least get some image for the doctors to make a note, because he's been struggling with this for like years now, and no place has given him any information. So I just want to give him, when I went the extra step to give him a little bit of the information so that he can move forward with the diagnostic that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for me too, like my workplace doesn't allow me to like help the patient up or get on the bed, because that's a safety issue. So that's where I draw the line. They get on the bed themselves, they get off the bed themselves, they get dressed themselves, like we don't do that. So
In this outpatient that you're okay. Well, it's really
I don't know how. I think I don't know how it is in your setting, but like my last workplace, outpatient and inpatient, they have staff that does that, so we didn't do either.
Okay. Yeah, it's really
It's
telling that
different.
you went above and beyond for your patient. And that's just telling how you are as a sonographer, right? And we would
Mhm.
hope that sonographers are going above and beyond for their patients. And that's kind of why a lot of us get into these situations where we are hurting ourselves.
Mhm.
And I can give a story too, where last year in the summertime, I actually went above and beyond from one of my patients, and that's what put me out of work for a good month or two. I think it was quite
I
some.
remember.
Yeah, and I was doing pseudoaneurysm compression, which we typically do on people who have pseudoaneurysms in their groin area after they do a procedure. And what the sonographer does essentially is pushes the probe on their groin area for at least 20 minutes and pushes it down and holds it there. And if you can only imagine holding the probe there for 20 minutes with pressure, your body is not going to like that. Number one.
Mhm.
Number two, are you in a good position to do that? And number three, you're in a still position for such a long time that your body is affected by that no matter what. And pseudo aneurysm compressions, I'm not too sure if they're really done anymore as much as what I was doing when I was a student, because we used to do them all the time. And since last year, that was the only one I've done since last year. And I haven't really seen them ordering it. But when I go to other hospitals and other places, a lot of their sonographers don't do that.
I
So,
did do it for mine.
yeah. So I think it just depends on where you work. Um,
Mhm.
and when I brought that up to the other place of work that I worked at, they were like shocked that I did a pseudo aneurysm compression. But
Mhm.
also at the time, I was working two jobs and working a lot. So my body was already strained at that point. And I think that was just the breaking point for my arm. So whatever I did at that time really ruined like my wrist. And so I went out for a few weeks. I also did the physical therapy, and my arm isn't really the same since then. So I feel more pain in general. And unfortunately, now I have to pay more attention. So if you can start your career by always paying attention to your ergonomics, that's going to make your career more long lasting and have a longer career span. Because we do know sonographers that have been doing this for 20 and 30
Mhm.
years who aren't in pain or who haven't had any injuries. But there is more in the latter. There are more people who have had injuries, more people who have hurt themselves, and more people scanning in pain. So it's not something that we should shy away from, but only share our experiences so that others don't hurt themselves. And so for me, it kind of made me double think everything that I do now, because I don't want to go out earlier than I thought I would be, which
No.
it is a lot earlier in my career than I thought I would have that kind of pain, but I put myself in that situation. If you guys can prevent things like that, really do your best to prevent it. Like this back pain that I have is a choice because of the way I'm scanning my patients. I'm making the active choice to not be ergonomically positioned to not have this pain. And so I think we have to go into our scans with that mindset first and foremost. A lot of times in the hospital setting, I think we go into it trying to be quicker and faster.
Mhm.
An outpatient, you're trying to just get your patients in and out with
Yes.
the with the
Within the time limit so that you're not behind. And if patient comes late, you're already behind. So you still had, you had to rush.
yeah, and you're not thinking about it. And then you've got a bed that's not ergonomically good,
Mhm.
or a machine's not positioned well, or
Right.
you're just not thinking about it.
Mhm.
So I think to manage the ergonomics and put it at the forefront of every scan that you do, I think that will help a majority of us sonographers in the long run. But what
Yeah.
are things that you think people can do actively to help them be better or ergonomically and also to have less pain? Because we all know 90% of sonographers are scanning in pain, so there's no secret there. It's just what do we
Yeah.
do now at this point?
Well, my biggest goal is to start working out, at least, upper body workouts. Um, if you are already doing it, very good. Stay that way.
Yeah, don't
It's
stray
just
away.
I'm just trying to get myself in the mindset of, working out again. Another thing, like if I like to stretch before I start scanning. Um, like those like stretches and your arms and shoulders, like do arm circles or anything to stretch my body. Because I know that I'm not working out, right? So I have to do at least something. I also have a what are those things called?
Like a stress ball.
Rest ball. So
Yeah.
so those work the fingers in the fingers. Just kidding. The muscles in the fingers that I was talking about that I didn't know I had. So it strengthened that muscle to be able to hold the gigantic probe that I'm holding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. What do you do?
Yeah, so that's actually a really big part of it. Working out, making sure that you're having good strength because you are using muscles with these probes that you didn't even realize you were using. And we don't do it on the daily. So if you scan with just your right hand all the time, you'll notice that it's different than your left. Or if you scan with your left all the time, you'll notice that there's something different or off with the other side. Same with like going over a big patient and you're putting a lot of weight on one side, your other side is, like using muscles and stuff that you're not typically using. And so now you're going to be kind of off. So it's really important to stretch and to do workouts. I noticed that I got a lot more pain when I stopped working out. There was a year when I figured out all the stuff going on with my brain because I have an aneurysm and like a PFO in my heart. So I stopped working out and I noticed that that made a decline in my scanning. Me getting pain was like more often than not. So
Uh,
working out is a really big part of it. And then stretching in between patients, even not just before or at the end of the day, but stretching in between all the time whenever you feel like you need to. It's really important. And then focusing on making sure you tell the patient to come closer to you if you need to, and making sure you're standing and not sitting if you need to. And a lot of times, ergonomics comes into play when you're sitting in a chair. We don't realize that that's probably one of the worst ways to scan a patient.
mhm,
I know so many people who like to sit and scan, but as long as you're not hurting yourself, then I mean, do it. But I think you'll hurt yourself more if you're sitting and scanning because the further you are away from a patient, the more you have to hyperextend your arm. So you have to think about your shoulder, your arm, and the way that you're scanning your patient, and it needs to be as close to your body as it can be.
mhm.
Think about the level of the bed. Think about the level of the machine. Think about where your eyes are staring at the machine. Are you looking up at your machine? Are you looking, can you move your screen? And that's why ergonomics is so important. And it's not just in the room, but it's also before and after. So I also heard that yoga is very good. So if you guys start to do yoga, stretching and posing and things like that, that strengthens your back, your arms, your shoulders, things like that. So I have done a couple yoga classes and they actually were really nice.
Yes,
I suggest
I
yoga.
should get started.
Yeah, you should. And I think like it's really cool to do it for your first time because then you'll realize like it's scary at first, but it actually like your body feels so much better after the fact, like because you're stretching out your body into
Mm,
different positions and it's gonna help you in the long run stay stronger. And also just think about everything that you're doing. I know being a sonographer is already a lot. We're already thinking about a lot in general, like what we're staring at and what we're scanning and all the things we have to do. But if you aren't able to physically do your job, then that's pretty much going to be the end of your career. If you hurt
right.
your wrist, if you hurt your arm, shoulder, back. Yeah, so ergonomics is really important.
Question. Do
Mhm.
you have the ergonomics chair, like the scanning chair at your workplace, that T chair?
I do not, but I heard that some people like it and some people don't.
I hate it. I
So
don't,
what
it's
makes it
so
ergonomic?
uncomfortable. I don't know. I think for me, it doesn't fit my body well. And because it's shaped like a T, like it's, I feel like it doesn't fit my body, and like maybe it's fit for like a bigger person or something. And then the chair is really firm.
Oh, it's really firm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That could all be like mechanics and like positioning and but in my head I was always taught to scan standing up because I do portable exams.
Yeah.
So when I was scanning in clinicals, I was so used to standing and scanning.
Mm.
In lab, we were sitting and scanning. And so I don't know if places actually teach their students how to do things ergonomically. And I'm sure nowadays they do more than they did before. Um, but I feel like sitting is just the worst way to scan because how are you getting the position that's good for your body and getting the
Right.
good images on this
And
patient?
then you're sitting, but you're like leaning this way,
Mhm.
or like you're trying to reach the left side. For me, I only sit when I know that the patient and the position, it's like I'm comfortable with. Like if I have to hyperextend, if I have to reach over, if I have to bend down, or bend over, I'm gonna stand. Like long studies, I stand.
Mhm.
And that would be me standing for like an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah. Dang,
Hence
that's a
my
long
pain.
time. That's a long time standing.
Yeah.
No, I feel like it's very dependent on the type of scan you're doing, the environment you're in, and just know that you need to focus on it. You need to actively think about it because the moment you're not thinking about it is the moment the next day you're going to feel that pain. You're going to be
And
like,
then you think
oh
about
gosh,
it.
oh my gosh, yesterday I did that. Oh, my back hurts today. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of days where my forearm hurts or my back hurts. And so
Right.
for me, getting massages actually really helps alleviate it, but it's not a
Ooh.
so definitely get massages.
That's a good way of managing ergonomics, but also an expensive way.
Yeah, it is a bit expensive, but it is for your health. So if you could think about it that way, relaxation is good for you as well as the massage part. And so there's actually a place in town that I go to called IMR, and it's for muscular rehab. Like, so they actually do focus on your pain and it's like medically like helpful. It's not just like one of those ooh
Or
seeing.
like Swedish or Thai massages.
But I think Thai massages could be good because they're
Yeah,
very
because it's really deep. I like those a lot.
they don't they step on your back?
It depends.
That's
So
actually
I
a
my
question.
my last massage, I went to Vietnam, right? And my last massage, it was so cheap. So we like, oh, we're going all out with like the massages because I was working nonstop before we left for Vietnam. And I was like so achy, especially with the long flights. That night we arrived, we went to a massage place. And
Yeah.
I was in so much pain because there was so much pain in my shoulders. She's like, "Do you work a lot from your shoulders?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." I was like, "How did you know that?" But I was like super tense from my neck to my shoulders. And then she really focused there. And at the end when they start cracking you, like I thought I was like breaking my back because she cracked every single spine. I was like, oh no, I don't like this. But yeah, they do crack.
Yeah, dang, that's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, my body was like so
But
out of
it's
shape.
good for you though. And
Yeah.
I think after you get the massage, you realize, okay, now I'm back to, you know, square one. Let's try not to hurt it again, but
Mhm.
it's good.
But it happens again.
Yeah, it's good to have a massage or a bath even. They say cold baths, like cold plunges are good for you, I heard. For your muscles.
Yeah, sorry, that was my puppy. Did you hear him?
Yeah. But it's a thing that we need to focus on is ergonomics, making
Mhm.
sure we're paying attention and doing what's good for our health and our well-being for our career in the long run. So make sure you're focusing on your environment, telling your patient to move closer to you, turn them on their sides if you can. Yeah, don't try so hard. If you really, really like need help, ask for help from the nurses, from your coworkers. If it's you by yourself, then you have to write limited exam on your worksheet sometimes. It's your safety and also patient safety. And you want to make sure you're doing the best for your patient. So just get those diagnostic images that you can without hurting yourself.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We had a not so technical difficulties. My puppy knocked off the laptop.
And we're back. So
And we're back. You were saying
I was saying,
do
do
your
your best.
best.
Yeah, do your
Oh, yes.
best to take the images that you can and don't hurt yourself for it.
Yes. And just know that the earlier you start, the more it becomes a habit. And it's if you're in school right now, start during clinicals, start in labs. Because one of my students got kicked out of their clinical sites because they got injured themselves.
Oh
So
no.
the clinical site said to send another student.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's definitely important that you guys
Hmm.
focus on your health and focus on what you're doing because you don't want to hurt yourself and you want to have a long career in this. So, yeah.
Exactly. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Hopefully you have some takeaways
Yeah.
from how to manage your ergonomics. I definitely will take some away from this episode and hopefully I'll work out soon. Thank you so much for listening and we appreciate you.
Follow us on all of our socials.
I was like, what's next?
Follow us on all our socials. And if you have any questions, let us know. And we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
See you next episode. Bye. Thank you for connecting through sounds with us. We appreciate you and can't wait to connect with you again next time.